In this homework video, we're going to learn the classroom expectations for Ms. Sherman's math class. This is our first homework video, so I'm really going to walk you through exactly how I expect you to do a homework video. Right now, you should have your notebook in front of you, as well as your pencil and eraser. So in your notebook, you're going to start by putting the date in the upper right-hand corner, the way we always do. And then you're going to put down the title. So you're going to call it homework. And then this one was titled Class Expectations. That's what you should have down so far. Okay. So normally I'm not going to show you this setup. You'll just know to do it. So then I'm going to continue with the video, and you are going to take down the notes underneath this spot. So you're going to start with your notes underneath here. And I'll give you an updated version of what this looks like in a moment. All right, so first, how we enter the room. You wait until I, Ms. Sherman, am at the door and the previous class has exited before you enter. You wait for me to welcome you into the room. You're going to enter slowly and with inside voices, no rushing in or racing to see who's first. You're going to make sure once you're inside that you are ready to learn. You have your pencil pouch, your spiral, and your planner out on your desk. And then you need to be started on the warm-up within 15 seconds of the bell ringing. So that gives you enough time to sharpen your pencil if you need to and get things sorted out. So now is a good time to pause the video and finish copying down these notes. Once you finish copying them down, then you can press play again. And then we're going to move on to the next section. All right, so now you should have written down under the notes here everything that we wrote down on that last slide. So as you can see, you're just writing down everything that was on those slides. So I work really hard to try and phrase things as briefly as I can. So I do expect you to write down everything that I have typed or that I have written. You don't need to write down things that I just said with my voice. You only need to write down things that are written on the screen. All right, so now that I have all these notes down, I'm going to move on to the next slide, but you're going to keep writing your notes right underneath these previous ones. So you're going to have one nice big page, and maybe eventually you're going to need to go on to a second page filled up with your notes. So the next part of the class expectations is what to do during direct instruction. So this is when the teacher is speaking and you are listening. Now we try and not have too much of this because we do these videos at home instead. But we do it sometimes, especially at the end of the class period, to wrap up what we've learned. And during that time, you're expected to raise your hand before speaking, and you're expected to listen respectfully and silently, no side chat, to teacher and your peers. If your peers are speaking, they deserve the same respect as a teacher would. So those notes should also get copied down in your notebook. Everything that I type or write should get written down in your notebook. You do not need to write down all the words that I speak, just what's written. So when you are writing down your notes for the second section, you should be able to just add on right below the notes that you had going on before. Now, if there's a new title to the new section, or if I'm doing a new example, do make sure that you use those headings so that your notes are easy to follow. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to stop giving you the model of what it would look like in your notebook, because I think hopefully you figured out that you're just copying everything down in your notebook, and we're just going to go ahead with the slides. Sometimes all or part of our classwork for the day is done as group work, meaning that you're working as a team on a goal together. So when we're working on group work, there should be no talking to anyone outside your team. All talk should be math talk about what we're focused on, no socializing. We need to make sure that we're helping each other understand and complete the task. And you ask each other for help before you ask the teacher for help. And I'm going to add one more. Just because I'm writing this by hand doesn't mean you don't need to write it down. Everyone works the whole time. So there's no saying, oh, I already did my part. Everyone keeps working the whole time. When we aren't working in groups, we'll usually be doing what I call independent work. So during independent work time, you're responsible for your own work, but I do expect you to still help each other out when you need it. So voices are going to be a lot quieter here than they are during group work, so whispers and low voices only. You can only be talking if you're giving or getting help from a peer. And do raise your hand for help from the teacher if your neighbors can't answer your question, but try and get help from your neighbors first. Independent work is quiet, but not silent, because I do expect that some people will be giving and getting help from each other. All right, and then during class, where are you allowed to go? So within the classroom, you can always get up to sharpen a pencil, grab a tissue, do whatever you need to do within the classroom, within reason, as long as you're not being disruptive. It's okay if I'm talking, just get up and do it. However, I really expect you to try and use the bathroom and get water during passing time between classes. I know that can be tough, especially if your last class was kind of far away, but you'll get it. If you do need to go out of the room during class, our school rules say that you cannot do so in the first 10 minutes or the last 10 minutes of class. That's the school rule. I say that I don't want you to do it during direct instruction. We don't do very much of it, but it's really important that you not miss any instructions about our activities. So if I'm talking to the whole class, please don't ask me to leave the room. When you do go, make sure to sign out on the clipboard with the time and your destination. And then when you come back in the room, sign to show what time it is when you entered back in. And finally, only one person out of the room at a time. And I forgot one. You must leave your cell phones in the room. So no cell phones in the bathroom. No cell phones can leave the room. And I have a nice little green basket in the front of the room for you to drop them in if you need to. All right, and then at the end of class routines. So pack up when I am done teaching, not before. The noise makes it really hard for us to focus on those last few minutes of class. Then make sure to clean up your space, check the inside of your desk, make sure you didn't leave anything, push in your chair, push in your neighbor's chair if they forgot or remind them, and wait near your desk until the bell rings. You can stand up and stretch, but please don't go over by the door. Okay, and now at the end of every video, there is going to be one practice problem that you answer on your own. And the answer to that problem you should be able to get from what you learned in the video. So for this one, my question is, at Selwood, when are you generally expected to use the restroom and get water? During what time? So I want you to write down your answer for that. Feel free to rewatch through the video if you need to, or look back through your notes. And then we will talk about the answer to this in class tomorrow.